Welcome back, YouTube. Kyle here with KGB Knives with another great video on how to make a neck knife. This is going to be the last video on this series on how I make this neck knife, and today's video is going to be all about sharpening. Okay, that's like the most important thing about a knife is how well it cuts. So today's video is strictly going to be sharpening. I'll go over on the belt grinder and I will progress through my grits, 120 grit all the way up to 400 grit. And then I'll come over to a special wheel that I have on a bench grinder that goes through and hones the blade so that it will just throw the hair off your arm or your leg or whatever else you want to cut. Alright, so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and cut over to the belt grinder and I'll show you what I do there. Alright, so for this portion, key things you want to do is keep your grinder at a slow speed so that you don't heat your blade up and ruin your temper. And you want to use nice fresh belts. So first I'm going to start off with a 120 grit belt. I'm going to set the secondary bevel to make sure it looks nice and good. After everything looks really good there, I'll move on to 220 grit. You'll notice here as I grind a little bit and then I look at the bevels and then I'm stopping here, and this is where I'm just checking the bevel, checking the burr, make sure that I have a nice even burr all the way across the bottom portion of the blade before I progress on to the next grit. Now what I have on here is a Trizac. It's actually a 320 grit belt, but the Trizac belts, they run cool, and if you keep on a slow speed, you don't have any chances of ruining your temper. If you can't control your speed, the key is to have a bucket next to your grinder, and you just dip your blade in there. And you do everything with no gloves so you can feel the temperature of the blade and you're not missing anything there. Same thing, go nice and cool, nice and smooth. And when you're done that, you're going to go ahead and check your burr. Make sure your burr is all the way down to your 320 or 220 grit. And then we're going to go ahead and switch out. And we'll go over to the Trizac 400 grit belt. And we're just going to, again, refine those grind lines. What you're doing on that secondary bevel is you're taking your grind, all of your grind lines are going from 120 grit down to 400 grit. And that's just giving you a nice superior cutting edge. Now that we're all finished up, I'll check the burr that forms on the end, and once I'm done checking that, I'll go over to my specialized grinding wheels that I have for on my bench grinder. Alright, so over here on the bench grinder, we're on the coarse, not belt, but the coarse wheel. And we have this pink wax, and basically you're going to hand turn this wax. You don't want to put a huge covering on here because then you'll have to recoat and redo up your wheel with your aluminum oxide. So you just put that on there. That keeps it from getting too hot. And then after that, you can go ahead and I'll grab up my blade. And I'll go ahead and do the finished grinding on it. Now we're over on the other side of the wheel. It's just a cardboard wheel. And I take this white rouge right here. Sorry, I think it goes out of the frame. But I just take this white rouge here. I'll turn it on, get it going, and hit it with the white rouge, and then we'll start buffing up the blade, and I'll show you what the end product is. Alright, so she is razor sharp. You can see the little patch I just shaved off, but the hair just pops right off. You can see how sharp it is. Alright, another little test that we like to do here in the shop is just a regular old piece of paper from the circular, Hopefully this is in focus, but yeah, I just, take the little circular and give her a little test. Alright, so you can do this for days. Alright. You're looking for with that push cut, you're looking to have nice cut lines. That shows you that your blade's real sharp. So some key takeaways when it comes to sharpening so that you get a nice hair popping, razor sharp blade is to progress through your grits properly, okay? You don't want to go skipping from 120 grit to 400 grit or 120 grit to 320 grit. You want to make sure you go 120, 220, 320, 400. And basically what that's going to do is refine your edge. And it's going to get all of your little grind lines are going to start to stand up and even out as you get further in the progression of your grits. So that when you go over to your wheel or your sanding stones, whatever you're going to do for it, you have a better product to start with when it comes to honing that blade in. Alright, I make sure all the blades that I send out, I make sure that they will slice through circulars with no problem, and that they'll shave hair with no problem. My wife kind of gets a little bit grossed out with the shaving hair thing. Sometimes if I'm making a whole bunch of knives, I'll go from arms to legs to one leg to another leg. But when it comes to the knife making, a lot of knife makers are missing their hair. But I'm going to go ahead and call it there for this video. Really appreciate you guys hanging in there for this series. It's been a big challenge. I really love making knives. Throwing the video and aspect into it was a little bit harder than I thought. Getting the right shot, getting the right lighting, and all that stuff really takes a lot of time. This particular knife does not take that long to do, but with getting everything set up takes considerably more time. But hope you guys like what you saw. Alright, please share. If you're a knife maker out there, go ahead and comment. Let me know that you're watching. Because I really want to sew back into the YouTube world is what my goals are. I learned a lot of information off of YouTube, and I have applied that, and then a lot of experience with just trial and error. But I just kind of wanted to sew back into YouTube, show everybody what I do. This way, if anybody has any questions, they can hopefully come to me like I went to many other knife makers. Thank you guys for hanging in. I hope you enjoyed this series, and check me out next time around. I'll be going over a few tools in the shop, kind of like a tool day in the shop. First tool day is going to be all about my kiln. So thanks for hanging in. Please like, subscribe, or comment, and I'll see you guys next week. Later.